Welcome to the Move with Tank podcast with your host, Dr. Michael Tancini. He is a doctor of physical therapy, owner of Ground to Overhead Physical Therapy, a strength and conditioning coach, former college athlete, 4-time CrossFit regional athlete, and a national level Olympic weightlifter. On the show, he will cover ways for active individuals and athletes, just like you, to stay healthy and improve their performance without the need of surgery, injections, and pain medication. If you ever have any questions for Dr. Tancini, which you would like answered, send over an email or message through Instagram at drtank_DPT. So without further ado, here's your host, Dr. Tank.
What's up, everybody? Dr. Tancini, Dr. Tank here. Thank you for joining us today. I've got a pretty awesome dude on the show today. He's super strong and tons of athletes driving the sport of Olympic weightlifting here in the Triangle. And I was chatting with him earlier and told him, man, I've seen him around meets and seeing what he's been doing for everyone for quite a few years. So I'm glad we're finally able to link up. And his name's John Smith, but he goes by Smitti. And Smitti, man, thank you so much for joining us today on the Move with Tank podcast.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, man, definitely. So, yeah, man. So now everyone, Smitti is a high school teacher. He is also a Olympic weightlifting coach. And I can do a intro for him, but Smitti, no one can do a better intro than you. So can you tell everyone a little bit, either talk or either listen to that?
You said tell them about myself?
Yeah.
All right. Well, like you said, I'm a high school PE teacher. I've been teaching since 2008. Yeah, that's about right. 2008. I'm high school coach. I coach football, women's basketball, track. I've been in strength training pretty much since, I graduated. I was CSC certified coming out of college. I've done the weight program at most of the schools that I've been at in some shape or form. As we were talking before we started, the current regime doesn't put me in charge of it right now. It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. Got into CrossFit about 2013, which really kind of led me into Olympic weightlifting. So I've been coaching. I was a CrossFit coach from starting about 2015. I don't know if my cert expired by now or not. I keep getting emails because of the pandemic. Certified USAW in 2016, and I started my club from there. So I've just been moving from there.
It's awesome, man. So, and then,
also left, like I said, I got back into it kind of when I started CrossFit. I had kind of taken a break. I played college football also. And after I got done playing football, I was just burnt out with the day in, day out grind of doing everything. So I just kind of basically did your Planet Fitness gym bro routine for a little while, some speed training on the side. And about 2010, 2011, I was like, all right, let me get back into some squats and deadlifts, some cleans, some snatches. But I've been away from it for so long. I was like, all right, I should probably find me a coach to make sure I don't screw this up. And that's how I got into CrossFit. I actually started doing CrossFit at CrossFit RTP. Yep, late. I had a lot of respect for him. He's a really good coach. So kind of got back into it through that. And I just kind of moved on from there. So I've been all right with it. Being an old guy getting into it late, I missed all my glory years. So trying to do that to maintain.
Hey, man, how old are you?
I just turned 38 Monday.
Oh, man, no, happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
Dude, 38 is super young.
Tell my joints that.
You're crushing it in the Masters division now.
Yeah, I'm doing all right in the Master division. I got to stay 2 steps ahead of the incoming guys. I was looking at the numbers that are coming in. I was like, God, I got to put another 20K on. To make the guys come in next year.
Nice, man. So, where'd you play ball at?
So I played football at Grand Valley State University, it's a Division II school up in Michigan. Played defensive back up there. It's pretty good. So I was a part of 4 national championship teams.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome. Not many people can ever say that.
No. So I was blessed to be around a lot of great athletes on that team so I can say I was part of it,
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, everyone listening now, like, I mean, Smitti, he's a heck of an athlete, man. I mean, you look at watch him lift, watch him move, and man, like 38 years young, and this dude is super strong and still moves well. And you know, like I've been blessed to work with a few of his athletes and like being able to look at their programs and see what he's giving them, and like, man, it's really awesome stuff. And like their numbers show it. They keep on going up and they keep on making progress. And yeah, so it's awesome. And then, so man, the whole story of playing college sports, getting a little bit burnt out, and then finding CrossFit, man, was exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Exactly. So man, I played baseball in college, and man, afterwards I was just so burnt out. I did the whole like bodybuilding routine, and then I just wanted something more. You know, like I got into CrossFit, and like I was still burnt out from like competition, but it was fun, so I did it. And then about a year in, I was like maybe I'll start doing this competition thing again. And but man, that's so like, how did you gravitate towards more of the barbell side of it?
Well, because of the competition piece. Like I never was burnt out on the competition part. Like I was always finding little things to do to stay competitive. Like I did competitive flag football for a couple years. Like we would go around to different tournaments and throughout the country and do that. So once I got into CrossFit, like I said, I really want to just work on my Olympic lifting at that point, but I was like, all right, I'll do this CrossFit thing. There's a bunch of new stuff for me to kind of learn and figure out. So I was like, all right. But after a while, I was like, all right, what is the end goal here with CrossFit? Like you can't, there's not enough time in the day during the week to really get good at all these movements. You know, and the competitions were so far and few in between. I was like, all right, I don't really care about beating the same people at 4:30 on the whiteboard day in and day out. Yeah, that reminds me too much of training camp. So Olympic lifting, I was like, all right, there's a few movements that you got to focus in to get better. There's measurable progress that can be seen over a few weeks, and there's competitions that I can do more readily. There's national goals. There's that. So I was like, it just kind of spoke to me more of who I am as a person and athlete. So it's pretty much how I just kind of gravitated towards it. Like I said, the day in, day out grind of doing the same stuff for CrossFit with no real end goal. I was like, it just didn't speak to me as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. And weightlifting, I know for me personally, man, it's like an art. It's like you can never get perfect. And it's just, there's always something you need to be working on to like bump you up. You know, I mean, as like you lift long enough, and adding a kilo is like a pretty awesome thing.
Yes. Right. I try to tell my athletes that all the time. They're like, well, I haven't PR'd in like 8 months. I'm like, yeah, but your technique is light years from what it was. Like removing 85 to 90%, like it's nothing. I'm like, you got to understand how this game works, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was, man, I'll tell you, in 2017, I was just like a little bit, that's when I started my practice and had a bunch going on. I had too much going on. I was a little bit burnt out from competition again. And man, so to like, and then I had some like movement faults that I had to fix that had kind of like plateaued me in the snatch, clean, jerk, and my squat. And man, from 17, I like cut back all my numbers, really just worked mechanically. And then like now I'm starting to bear the fruit. So, you know, like almost 5 years later, I'm starting to pass some of those old numbers out that I was hitting back then, which is hard for someone like, you can see that, like I can see that, but someone like an individual who I work with who's in their club, who's maybe been with now for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like some of those newbie gains are gone, and I put them in the work and be like, okay, like you're not going to hit your best numbers every time you step on the platform.
Right.
But it's that constant goal of showing up, sharpening the axe, sharpening the iron to then get that little bit better so that maybe you can go out there instead of 280 totally, maybe you hit 282 and it's like, yeah.
Yes. And it's hard for a lot of those newbies, especially when you finally really get a coach and somebody who's going to be on top of you and you're like, hey, yeah, I know you can hit this, but if you don't hit it with proper form and technique, I'm not going to let you take the lift. Because I'm like, if our goal is to compete, Like, you have to do it at a certain standard. Because if you don't, it don't count. And then two, just from a safety perspective, my whole goal is to keep you healthy as an athlete. All right, it does us no good to hit this lift and then can't lift again for 3 months.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We've hit this number once in a blue moon, and now we set back 3 months, and now we got to scale back another 30 key. I'm like, you got to play the long game. Like, it's not about these numbers to post for Instagram. I'm trying to get you somewhere that you say you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and in weightlifting, that's maybe one or two competitions a year
that really matter. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, like, how do you walk athletes through that? You know, as a coach, you know, that can be pretty challenging. So, like, how do you balance out the athlete's, I guess, own ego with being able to take that step back and trust the process?
I've been very lucky to have, for the most part, athletes that aren't very egotistical. The ones that tend to have a bit more ego, sometimes you just got to let them kind of fly and let them fall so they can see the faults. And then, like, look, the program works if you stick to it. They'll push against you a little bit, and then you're like, look, I'm not changing what I'm doing. Stick to the plan if you want to be successful. And then at the end, they're like, oh, well, I just hit this, I hit that. I'm like, tell me why I'm not surprised. I'm like, I understand this because I wrote the program. Like, just stick to the program.
Yeah.
Every program will work if you stick to it. If you constantly going off program is when you end up not getting to where you want to get to.
Absolutely. And that's what athletes tend to get hurt. Yeah. Because as you know, like, you as the programmer and the coach, if you're looking at training volume and training load and reps that X amount of kilos and all those things, and when someone goes off of, oh yeah, I'm going to jump in and do this over here, you know, they just spike that training load up so much that it just sets them out of balance with what their body can actually tower.
Yeah. Oh, it happens all the time. Like, oh, I felt good, so I went for a 1 rep. I was like, I had you programmed to go to 78%. Like, this, it's not even close. It's like, yes, you should have felt good at 78%. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, do you know who Donnie Thompson is?
I do not.
So, you ever heard of body temporary? The big, like, rolling steel pipes over here?
Yeah.
He's the one that created that. So, took the Donnie Thompson bow tie, and then you have, like, the Donnie Thompson, those, like, fat bells from Rogue. You put your hand in the inside. He was Mr. 3000 was his name, and he was a power lifter. And he had a 3,000 pound total. So he squatted some like 1,400 or 1,500 pounds. And dude, he's like the size. He's like probably 5'6" or like 5'7", I think, and probably 2 or 3 wider than me. Dude, he's just short and wide and super awesome guy. But I had an opportunity to go to one of the seminars back in 2016. And one of the things that stuck out to me was, like, he was talking about training and talking about the fact that, like, he can't remember vividly the last time he missed a lift, and it was almost a decade ago. And he preaches to all his athletes, like, hey, like, training is to train, and if you're missing a lift, something broke down, and you're training the wrong thing. So, like, when it's time to compete, that's when we push it for those maxes. But in training, like, you should not miss many lifts whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
100% agree. Like, I tell my athletes, I'm like, look, unless there was a technical issue that you had that caused you to miss, we shouldn't really be missing. There'll be a couple points during our program where we're kind of peaking, where I'm like, all right, I know you're probably going to have some technical breakdowns here just because of where you are in the sport of Olympic weightlifting. If you're in the first 5 years, it's still a beginner. So you're still going to have some issues above 90% just because you're still not technically sound enough to take those lifts consistently. All right. I'm going to with people who have full-time jobs. I'm fully aware of this. Like, you come in at 4:30 after working all day, you might be fried just from that, you know? But the majority of our work that we do, you should. It's like, if you're missing, I'm like, all right, are you stressed? Are you tired? What are you doing? What's the issue? We shouldn't be missing these lifts that have been prescribed for you. Because I'm like, when we get the competition, you want to have the confidence, like, I can make these lifts. Like, missing does nothing for it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you're spot on, man. You just brought up such a huge part of like the fact that performance is such a multifaceted and multi-realm thing. It's like dealing with people that other things in life. Like maybe they don't sleep well. Like maybe their diet's off the day. Like maybe they're super stressed out and they just found out that their dog's about to die. And then in a sport like Olympic weightlifting, like it's so neurological. And like you have got to be so locked into what you're doing. And if there's another stressor in there, like it can throw you off. And like you'd have the worst day of your cycle.
Yep. Yep. I'm crazy. So the first thing I ask all my athletes, as soon as they step in the door, how you feeling? Like, number one question I ask everybody, physically, mentally, emotionally, like all those things play a factor. I'm like, all right, if you had a rough day, I'm like, all right, well, let's see how you do during warm-up, see if we need to lower the weight. I've got percents written in. I'm like, but at the end of the day, everything is variable day to day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. So now you run barbell and sprints. And so I always wondered, how'd you come up with that name?
So when I first got into this, I really got into it because a couple of students at my high school asked me to start up a weightlifting club at the high school. I was like, all right, sure. I'm interested. Why not? So the first club was, the first name and the name, because I still kind of run it at the school, depending on the year and how many people are interested. I came up with my Star Barbell Club, Space Jams and all of that.
Yeah.
So went to my first year nationals with a couple athletes. And I was like, all right, let me see if I can move this into the CrossFit gym when we was at Embark. So, we there, I'm doing that. I'm like, all right, I need a better name. I didn't want to deal with the trademark thing with Monster. I was like, that's going to be an issue. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, God, what's something I can market? I was like, all right. At the time, there's about 3 or 4 people in my club. I was like, all right, light donuts. Sprinkles when we get a PR. I was like, barbells. I'm like, barbells and sprinkles.
Nice.
I was like, all right. Like, I can roll with that. I can market that. That was really it, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I mean, it definitely sticks. Like you hear it once, and you're like, okay, yeah.
I'm so just trying to think of something that I knew would, come up and stick and would be recognizable,
Yeah, and then that's awesome. So like now, COVID threw us all for a major curveball, right? So during the pandemic, what were some ways which you were able to kind of still work with athletes and help athletes through that process? Because I mean, you're impacted on so many different levels as a teacher and a coach.
Yeah. Again, I was lucky enough where a lot of the club that stuck with me either had access to plates already. I lent out a couple sets. I already have a process in place where, if my athletes miss a day or if they have to come in on an off time when I'm not there, that they video when they send video. So that kind of was already in place, but just the motivating piece and being able to hands-on correct was obviously a very difficult thing. I'm still in envy of coaches that do strictly online coaching. I'm like, I really don't understand how you are able to correct an athlete appropriately online through video. Like, I don't care if it's live or not. Like, that kinesthetic feedback that a lot of people need, you just can't give.
Yeah.
I can tell you all day, all the words you, like, I don't know, but I can physically put you in a position, you'd be like, oh, okay, now I understand. So,
yeah,
that was the biggest piece, especially with some of my youth athletes. I got set back about 3 months with some of those because they were so new and just, it's like, there's no words out there to tell this child or their parent that's going to help them. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it made like, especially with the youth athletes, because like a youth athlete has no idea where their body's at in space
At all.
They're all like, they're real wobbly, they're super mobile. They have trouble squatting. They have trouble like pressing. They have, trouble just with all these kind of basic athletic movement. Mm-hmm. And then you throw in something as complex as the snatch. It's like, okay, we need you, and we need you to try and get to these positions. And then we'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking
Yep.
about. And man, so yeah, I mean that, dude, I get that. And coaching people. So I've worked with some athletes in like telehealth through like different country or different states. Like they'll like in coaching someone on video and getting them the cues. So it's actually just like you said, man, it's a little bit challenging because you can't correct them in live time, and you can't actually try these different tactile cues and like these like different things you can test out on the spot.
Yeah.
To get the result quickly.
Another thing that I had problems with, usually athletes only want to send you the videos that look the best, that look good. So I'm seeing videos. I'm like, oh, you're doing fantastic. You're doing great. I'm just keep popping up the numbers. I'm like, oh, I'm over here dying. I was like, not according to these videos you sending.
Yeah.
This video say you are doing great. I suggest you send other videos if you want me to have an accurate thought process about how your training's going.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And that's like, you see a lot of people on Instagram, right? And like Instagram is the highlight reel of everybody's life.
Right.
So they see all these athletes like hitting all these like huge numbers, and they don't see 99% of everything that took to get there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, I mean, you've probably seen it. Like someone will sit there and try weight 15 times and they'll finally hit it. And then that's the video that they put.
Yes. And I don't even let my athletes go over after 3 misses. I'm like, move on. We're not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do in your own personal training?
3 misses.
3 misses, yeah.
Yeah, I treat it just like a meet. You know, if that's our goal. When you get to a meet, you get 3.
Yeah.
That's it.
And man, that's what's so cool about it, man. It's like, man, when I came from baseball, and like going up the bat, it was like you're this team sport, but it's a very individual encounter, right? So it's you versus that pitcher. And it's okay, like somebody's gonna win here, and it's gonna be me. And then you go into weightlifting, it's throwing the weight at you, but like you're competing against gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay, your gravity's gonna win this. Like you got this three people sitting in front of you. You got 3 shots, make it happen. So, yeah, man. So, dude, that's awesome. So, like now, as you worked through the pandemic and athletes started coming back in and start getting more comfortable with it on the platform, like what are some of the biggest issues that you ran into with athletes trying to jump back in?
For my athletes that weren't as motivated during the pandemic for whatever reason, just trying to figure out where to start them off at. You know, we were lucky enough where most of my guys really didn't fall off too bad. We found some loopholes in the COVID regulations early, so we were, able to get back into the gym fairly early. So I think we were only out for 6 or 7 weeks because weightlifting, they had something with weight room in there that if you were either sponsored or something, blah, blah, blah. But we found a loophole, so we got back in fairly quickly. So it didn't really hit us as hard as a lot of other, I guess. But just trying to get some of those guys that didn't have the motivation because they were sitting in the house and working from home, just trying to figure out where they should be at right now versus where they were.
Yeah. Gotcha. So like now, have you seen any of your athletes kind of like try to come back and jump straight back into their old numbers, and before it breaks down, they try and do too much a little bit too soon?
No,
It's good.
My athletes are pretty good with that. I've got a lot of female athletes for the most part for my club, so they are very in tune and will definitely tell me if, it's going too much. They're like, hey, I need to scale this back a little bit. It's a little bit different with some of the newer people as they come in. Again, I don't know what they were doing during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I definitely will sometimes question numbers that they say they've hit. I'm like, you hit this when? They're like, yeah, about like 6 or 8 months ago. I was like, was somebody watching you in kilos? Like, the way you move in this percentage right now, I find this hard to believe. So that's one of the things with those newer guys or newer athletes coming in sometimes, trying to figure out, all right, what did you do during the pandemic? Are these numbers factual? Are they accurate? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So now, like, when that new athlete comes into you and they give you those numbers, like, do you develop like kind of like a training max that you go off of, or do you just let them base themselves off those numbers? And then like when you get to the end of that first block, then you reset.
Yeah. I normally just go off of what they tell me. I'll trust you until I see otherwise. And after that first block, I'm like, all right, we'll back down here. We'll move back here, or we'll move up a little bit on this one. Just kind of depends. It's really a case by case basis that I kind of run it with. But no, as soon as when they get in, I'll ask them for whatever numbers they got. And, you know, it's like, hey, if they're within the last 6 to 8 months, you know, we'll go with it. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome, man. So then, man, you put so much time into helping others, both in school and in the weight room. And like I know, I mean, running a barbell club, like, takes a lot of time, and programming itself and coaching takes a whole bunch of time. So like, why do you do it, man? So what's your mission behind like running your barbell club?
I just want to see people succeed, man. Like, I think part of it, one is being a strength and conditioning guy since, again, coming from football, all of that, being a high school coach, PE teacher. I think it's a great avenue for a lot of these high school kids to get to the next level. Regardless of what sports you're going to play, you're going to end up in the weight room. You're going to end up doing these lifts. So if I can open this up and get this to that population, it's only going to better them. It's only going to better the sport of weightlifting. Everybody wins. As far as my adults, a lot of the adults I get into it, either we're former athletes or just looking to do something different. And with them, again, I just want them to be able to move their best, feel their best. And I'm a competitive guy, so I try to push them into even the local comp, just to do something you didn't think you would be able to do. It's just a different feeling to be up on that stage, you against the barbell, and just to put heavy weight above your head. It's a feeling like nothing else.
Definitely is. Dude, it's such an adrenaline rush. I mean, I went to my first meet in 2018. And like, man, probably for the, man, so I was probably for the last like 5 years prior to that, people have been telling me, hey, why don't you do a little bit of weight? I'm like, oh man, I can lift max out in training and it's, so whatever. And then I went and I helped my wife at her first meet. And then do you know Gavin? Yeah, so Gavin was like helping her, they like helping me and helping her like count. He's like, I wasn't familiar with like how to really count. And going through that meet with her, I was like, this is pretty awesome. And then I was left with it, but I didn't understand like how the meets worked. And man, when I did my first meet, I was like, yeah, this is great. I gotta keep on doing this.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, so like everyone listening, like if you're sitting at home and you're like, man, I can just max out on the platform at the gym. It's different. Like you have to give the pressure of, hey, you got three lifts. And if you miss this weight, you can't drop back down. And if you want to try it again without going up, you got about 2 minutes to get your stuff together and go and hit it again. Yeah. So, and then you throw in the mix of somebody like you're planning on the certain lift and you're supposed to be like 2 lifts out. And that person in front of you that all of a sudden bumps down.
Yeah.
Showtime. And being able to manage that and manage those like quick changes. But so for you, so you were just at youth nationals, right? Yeah. So how'd that go for you and your athletes?
And it went really well. I took 2 girls on there. One competed in the 13 and under 64 plus category. She took bronze across the board. First, they did the virtual nationals last year at the end of 2020. I don't really count that because it wasn't in person, but it was still a national meet. But so her first in-person meet, she took bronze across the board, which is really good for her. She's been with me probably, is it 2 years? 2 years this year? Is that right? 2 years. So she's still really, really new to it. But that was really good for her. And then I had a girl compete in 14 to 15 age range in the 55K. And she took fifth overall, which is still really good. I mean, she PR'd across the board. And in that 55 class for the girls, stacked. 3 of the top 10 lifters for the weekend for youth nationals were in that class.
Really?
In that section. Yeah, it was insane. I think the top girl clean and jerk 102. She cleaned it. I don't know if she made the jerk, but she was over 100.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, it was insane. But it was really good. Went really well for us.
That's awesome. Then, are you planning on going to any of the other favorite meets coming up?
Where we go? We only got AO finals left. There's Masters Pan Ams. I'm not going to Masters Pan Ams. Be out of town for that one. But there's AO finals left. I think I might have one person. No, I'm sorry. There's AO2. I forgot about the AO2.
Yeah. Over it.
Yeah. I've got one. I've got one that's definitely going. I got to wait to see how the schedule plays out, to see when I can try to get down there with him. And then there's AL finals. I got a guy that just started with me that, I don't know. I said, he's been with me for about 5 or 6 weeks. He was doing CrossFit for a while. He was an Olympic lifter before. He took some time out to do CrossFit and came back to lifting. He's a 80, 81, 89. He's an 89. But that's decent numbers. I'm like, that's like, I'm putting on a meet the end of October and I'm going to have him lifting it. I'm like, we got a shot at it. He did a triple at 110 and 3+1 clean and jerk. He missed a jerk at 140, but he'd have got it on the first. I'm like, given that you've only been back for about 5 or 6 weeks, I'm like, another 2 months, we might be able to do something.
Yeah.
If things pan out with him, we might go to AL finals, but that's Colorado. It's just, these meets this year all on the west side of the country. It's just,
yes,
hurts the pockets.
Yeah, man. It's so see and meet you're putting on at the end of October.
Yep, October 23rd.
Oh, sweet, nice. That's good to know. I'll have to spread that word.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I just solidified that date last night.
Oh, nice, awesome, man. Hey, man. That last week you put on was awesome. That was great.
Appreciate it, man. Try to keep things running smooth and efficiently. The track coaching me. I'm like, hey, on to the next. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, with the athletic lab, we had some pretty good meets, but they haven't ran a meet now in years.
So done with that new spot.
Yeah. And then I went to a few other local meets and man, like it was just like the difference between the athletic lab meets and like those other local meets were so huge that I was like, it's hard to find a really good local meet. And then lifting out of here, that was awesome. That reminded me of the old athletic lab meets.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. So the lifters there were strong. You had people across the board. It was very time efficient and it just rolled. So it was great. So now, awesome, man. Well, what about your own personal training? So what's the next steps for you?
I can feel, man. I'm old. I'm just trying to maintain and stay healthy.
I'm a weight class you in.
I'm 109.
Okay.
If I really was serious about my nutrition and being active a little bit more, I'd probably be a heavier 102 in real life. But, at this point with where I'm at, I don't care. Yeah. So I'm 109. We got Masters Nationals coming up next April. And I'd really like to try to qualify for Worlds, which is next December for Masters. So that's kind of the big goal that I've got on my mind is trying to qualify for Worlds next year.
That's awesome. So like what's the total needed to get into that?
Gotta be like the top 10 your age, and then you got to get an invite. So I think I'm going to have to, if I really want to get there, I'm going to have to be at least at a 290, 295 total.
Okay.
I tore my Achilles 2 years ago, and I've been coming back from that. So my best since tearing my Achilles was 275 or something like that.
Yeah.
In comp, I've hit some higher numbers in training, but no one cares unless you do it on the platform.
Yeah. So
I got, I can do it. Just need to keep grinding, keep putting in the work, and put it together when it matters.
Yeah, man. Awesome, man. Well, I look forward to following that journey, man. See you out there. So, yeah, man, because I think it's crazy. I mean, like 35s and 35 plus is it's masters, but dude, you're still stronger than a lot of the open athletes, so. So, but awesome, man. So, like, now, if someone wants to find you guys over at Barbell and Sprinkles, how can someone find you guys to come with the pretty awesome group?
Well, we're on Instagram. Instagram handle is Barbells and Sprinkles. They can reach out. Well, they can message me on Instagram, reach out through Instagram. Obviously, you can go to our website, which is also barbellsandsprinkles.com. You can also reach out through the gym that we're at, CrossFit Brave. They've been great to us. They can also reach out through them, through their website, and get in touch with us. So,
awesome, man. Awesome. So now, last thing, what's on your training for the day?
Today, what is today? Thursday? I lifted 2 days in a row, so we'll see how my body feels after I get out this chair. Honestly, I'll probably front squat at some point this week. I haven't done any actual squats this week. So front squat, probably some block work for me. My athletes in the state prep, we got states coming up that second week of August. So they're in state prep. They'll actually have the same thing I got. They got front squats, some block cleans, a little complex. Yeah. It's Thursday, so it's the end of the week for them. Yeah, that's what they'll have today.
Nice. Awesome, man. Well, hey, dude, Smitti, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's awesome hear about the club, man, and hear about all the successes you guys are having over there. And there's so many lifters around it, but yet there's very limited, really good barbell clubs.
Yeah.
And I know a few of your athletes come all the way from the Chapel Hill area.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's worth the drive, like that 30 minutes. If you're looking for a really good, club to work with, a really good program to follow, guys, check out Barbell and Sprinkles that over at CrossFit Brave. It's super easy to get to right off, it was a Tryon Road right there.
Yep.
Tryon Road, and get there by 1, jump off 40, take the toll road, come on in, and excellent community of lifters, excellent place just to make friends and get stronger. So, and then I always think it's so crucial to have somebody like yourself leading the way, right? So that you help guide athletes and to making sure like they're training appropriately and being there at these meets with them. That says a ton about you, right? It's the fact that you travel to the meets with your athletes and you're helping them be like, okay, like you got to prep for your lifts this way, or we're going to count you down. You got to be at this number, this many lifts out. Like that's huge because it helps take a lot of the stress off the athletes.
You get to a lot of those national meets, how many of those coaches and those athletes get there and don't have any idea what they're doing. It is dumbfounding. Even when I went to my first meet, I still had an idea. Like I did enough research, like I had a plan and we did the same thing. You go to some of these meets and these athletes in the back, it's like a brand new day. The coach is a brand new day for them. I'm like, oh my God. So it's definitely trying to do the same things that you did during practice, during training. So the meets shouldn't be anything different.
Yeah. And I've been super blessed. So my wife is my biggest supporter, and I'm super grateful that she knows her way around the barbell. Like I don't know if you saw her, but like she's my counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's met from day one. Like as soon as we learned how to do it with her, she's been my counter from the start. So she's done national meets. She'll do the finals and go out to Denver in December and the lift.
Okay, nice.
She'll be my counter there, and she'll be she'll be wearing our son around her hip. And man, it's awesome because it's like, she knows me well enough and like how I train that she knows which numbers and like what my jumps are going to be.
Right.
So yeah. But then like, that's so crucial, man. If I didn't have her, I'd have to have someone like yourself, because giving it alone is like, you can only focus on so many things when you're at the meet.
Yes. It's hard. I've done it. And at some meets, it's hard.
Yeah. So, but hey, Smitti, man, thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to seeing your athletes thrive and grow, and see if the meet's coming up. I'll make sure to spread the word. All right. That meet on October 23rd, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, and then, man, in the show notes, I'll make sure to put everything the way people can get in touch with you, contact you. And man, it's so thankful for being able to wake up and finally connect. And you, man, thank you. Awesome, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for coming in, or for listening to us chat today on the Move with Tank podcast. Smitti, super strong guy, awesome coach. Make sure you check him out over at Barbells and Sprinkles. And guys, we'll see you next time. See ya.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening to the podcast today. I hope you found the content useful, and I hope it helps you avoid an unneeded surgery or an unneeded injection in the future. Now, in practice, my goal is to save 1 million active individuals from the unneeded surgeries, injections, and pain meds that they don't need, while helping them stay active and performing the activities that they love to do. Now, guys, I cannot reach that many people all by myself. I really need your help. So if you like what you heard, please share this podcast with your friends, with your families, or with anyone who you feel really needs to hear it. By doing so, you may just save that person from an unneeded surgery or injection that they really do not need. If you're not following me yet on social media, find me on Instagram at drtank_DPT and on Facebook at Ground to Overhead Physical Therapy. Thanks for listening to the show today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys here again next time on the Move with Tank podcast.